In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an interface in Java. So in our project panel, let's right-click on our package and add a new interface. Now here we don't have interface, but we can use a Java class and change the type to interface. I'm going to call this tax calculator, but we already have a class called tax calculator, and we cannot have two types with the same name. In C#, we prefix our interfaces with a capital I to indicate that this is an interface, but this convention is not very popular in Java. Java developers sometimes use the can prefix, so can calculate tax. That's one way to name this interface. Another convention is to use the able postfix, like draggable or resizable. In this case, I want to call this tax calculator, but I'm going to rename this class to tax calculator 2018. Let's imagine this is the implementation for the year 2018. So let's temporarily cancel this. Now we put our caret here, right click, go to refactor and select rename. We're going to rename this to tax calculator 2018, enter, done. So note that I didn't manually change the name of this class. I used the rename refactoring command. With this, as you can see, the constructor got updated automatically, and the file name is also changed to reflect the new class name. All right, now let's add a new interface here. So new Java class. We call this tax calculator and change the type to interface. So here we have public interface instead of class. In this interface, we don't have state or data, so we don't have any fields. We only have method declarations that determine what needs to be done. In this case, we need to be able to calculate the tax. So we need a method like this: public double calculate tax without any parameters. So here we have an abstract method because we don't have curly braces. We only have a method declaration. Now look at the public keyword. It's grayed out, and that means it's not necessary here. It's redundant because every method that we declare here has to be implemented by a class, and these methods should be public there so they can be accessed by other classes, because this interface determines the public interface of a class, the public contract. Okay, so let's get rid of this unnecessary public keyword. All right, now let's go to our main class. So we cannot instantiate this interface like a class. In other words, I cannot declare a variable like C and set it to a new instance of the tax calculator, because this is an interface, a contract, not a concrete implementation. It doesn't have any code. So how are we going to use this? Well, let me delete this line. We're going to go back to our tax calculator 2018. We want this class to implement our new interface. So here, after the class name, we type implements, and then we type the name of our interface, tax calculator. Now, if this class had a base class, we would have the extends keyword. So extends, let's say object. And as you can see, a class can extend another class, but also implement one or more interfaces. You will see that in the future. So let's remove the extends keyword. So now we're implementing this interface. And this method that we have defined here is the implementation of the calculate tax method that we declared in our interface. So our interface said every class that implements me should have a public method with the exact same signature. There's just one piece missing. Even though we don't have a compilation error here, as a best practice, we should apply the override annotation to our interface methods. So annotations, as I told you before, are labels that we attach to our methods or classes, and with this we give extra information to the Java compiler. Now, you might be asking, what is the benefit of doing this? Here we're telling the Java compiler that this method is the implementation of the calculate tax method in our interface. Now, if in the future we decide to remove this method from our interface, so let's go back here and temporarily comment this out. Now here we get a compilation error because we're telling the Java compiler that this method is overriding, or more accurately, implementing an interface method, but this method does not exist in our interface. So this is the benefit of using this annotation or label. Now, back to our calculator. Let me bring this back. So we have created an interface But our report class is still using this concrete implementation. It's still tightly coupled to this class. We need to replace this with our new interface. So we want the tax report to talk to an interface, not a concrete implementation. And that's what we're going to do next.